All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a really fascinating breakdown from Rajput Digital Marketing called Funnel Agency Dubai, How Funnels Drive Predictable Growth. We're going to look at why so many businesses out there are hustling so hard, yet seeing wildly inconsistent results. And more importantly, how putting a structured funnel in place is basically the ultimate fix for all of that.
So, let me ask you, does your growth feel random? Up one day, down the next, surging on a random Tuesday, and then completely dead by Friday? It's literally the worst roller coaster you can be on as a business owner. You're riding this wave of totally unpredictable lead generation, and honestly, it's just exhausting. Here's a pretty harsh reality we need to confront right out of the gate. Most businesses, especially in a hyper-competitive market like Dubai, they don't fail because they're lazy, right? They're putting in the hours. They fail because their growth feels entirely random. Lack of effort isn't the issue here. The real culprit is the absolute lack of a structured system behind all that effort. I mean, just look at this cycle. One month, the leads are pouring in, everything feels fantastic. The next month, crickets. Dead quiet. Your ads might work, sporadically. Your social media feels super busy. You're posting, liking, engaging. But your actual sales pipeline is completely empty. It's this agonizing cycle of doing a ton of activity but getting zero actual achievement. So we need to clear the air and define what a funnel actually is, because there's a lot of misinformation floating around. A sales funnel is not just a piece of software. It's not just a basic landing page, and it is definitely not just some simple email automation you set up and then forget about. No, a funnel is the complete journey your customer takes. It spans all the way from that very first curious click right down to the final buying decision. To actually build that journey, a proper funnel has to answer some absolutely critical questions. Where do people come from? What do they see first? How exactly are they being educated about your value? When are they actually asked to buy? And maybe most importantly, what happens if they say no? If you're skipping over these questions, you aren't just making a tiny mistake. You're creating these massive leaks in your business where potential revenue is literally just pouring down the drain.
Which brings us to part 2. Why Dubai demands funnels.
Dubai is fast, it's competitive, it's crowded. The pace of business here, it waits for absolutely no one. If you're operating in this market, or honestly any market like it, you are dealing with a consumer base that moves at lightning speed.
And because of that crazy speed, attention is incredibly expensive. Your audience is seeing dozens, probably hundreds of ads every single day. They are comparing your offer to your competitors in a split second. So if you don't actively guide them through a structured process, they just disappear. Gone. A funnel is absolutely mandatory if you want to protect your expensive ad spend from just vanishing into thin air.
And that brings up this massive contradiction in digital marketing. Look, you can absolutely run ads without a funnel. People do it all the time. But traffic alone doesn't create consistency. Funnels do. You could send the exact same traffic to a generic website versus a structured funnel, and you are going to get wildly different outcomes. The traffic isn't the magic bullet here. The structure is.
All right, let's move on to the customer reality.
Because here's the absolute truth about how humans actually buy, something most businesses completely ignore. People rarely buy on the first visit. They look at your offer, they leave, they go away to think about it, and sometimes they come back. A structured funnel accepts this reality instead of trying to fight it. Rather than forcing some instant, high-pressure sale, funnels nurture that interest step by step. They build trust quietly over time.
So how do we actually make that happen? Let's walk through the 4 core funnel stages chronologically. First up is awareness, so your ads, content, search presence. Second is capture, using targeted landing pages and forms to actually get their info. Third is nurture. This is where we bring in email, WhatsApp, and retargeting to stay top of mind. And finally, conversion, the calls, the demos, the actual purchases. Notice how every single step naturally prepares the prospect for the next one without ever rushing them. It's totally seamless.
Next up, let's look at myth versus reality when it comes to automation. This is such an interesting contrast. A lot of people think automation somehow removes the personal touch, but in reality, it protects it. Automation handles the timing. It makes sure emails go out exactly when they're supposed to, messages follow up promptly, and leads don't just fall through the cracks. But humans handle the trust. Your actual team steps in exactly when the prospect's interest is at its absolute highest. It's a pretty perfect balance.
Okay, let's talk about some common UAE funnel mistakes.
Think of this as a bit of a cautionary tale, because Rajput Digital Marketing sees these exact things draining growth from local companies all the time. Running ads without any follow-up plan, sending really expensive traffic to a totally generic homepage where people just get lost, asking for the sale way too early before any trust is built, having absolutely zero retargeting setup to catch the people who bounce, and having no tracking or data clarity whatsoever. These mistakes might not kill your growth overnight, but make no mistake, they will slowly bleed your business dry.
Here's what so many people miss. Funnels don't replace your ads or your websites or your landing pages. They act as the connective tissue between them all. Ads attract the attention, landing pages capture it, funnels convert it. When you finally connect all these pieces together with a proper funnel, your marketing completely stops feeling chaotic.
So, what does a real agency actually do to fix this?
Well, an agency like Rajput Digital Marketing doesn't just build pretty web pages. They map out the entire journey. We're talking about developing a cohesive traffic strategy, dialing in the offer positioning, writing specific landing page copy, crafting those email and WhatsApp sequences, setting up the retargeting logic, and implementing rigorous tracking and optimization. Building a complete system based on real buying behavior is all about making strategic decisions, you know? It's way more than just aesthetic design.
Which brings us to this core philosophy. Predictable growth is not magic, it's structure. Funnels are not going to promise you overnight success, but they do promise consistency. And over time, that consistency compounds into massive, predictable growth. So I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on for your own business. Are you ready to stop guessing and start growing? Because if predictable growth is truly what you're after, stepping away from random marketing and embracing a structured funnel system is exactly where it all begins. Take a hard look at your customer journey today and ask yourself, where are the leaks?